All right, guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to TX2K25. Today we have Will's fucking badass Mark 5 Supra, of course. You guys might have seen this during my road trip series where he basically almost made me shit my pants. If you guys haven't watched that video, I highly recommend it. Just even check out the road trip series. Got a chance to see a lot of great scenery, meet a lot of great people in the Supra community. Shout out to everyone in the Pacific Northwest and in SoCal and NorCal. So check that out. The description box will have the links if you are interested in viewing it. This car, of course, as you guys can see with the B-roll, it is far from a street car. So I'm going to give you guys a background on this car before we look at the details of it. So previously, whenever Will was still running a stock motor, so this is a 6-port motor car, he was just running the basic build that everyone does whenever they do top mount. Essentially my build. So top mount 6870, fueling, built trans, intake manifold, port injection, you know, the works. But the way that this is set up now, completely different. Fully built motor. We'll talk about, of course, all of the details. But before I talk about the parts that made this build happen, give a shout out to English Racing in Camas, Washington for putting this car together. And then ETS, as you guys can see on the side of the car, for supplying the turbo kit for this fucking beast. And then a bunch of other parts. So really excited to get this car on the channel here in Texas because we've seen it in Washington. You guys are probably tired of me talking about the background of this car. Let's go ahead and jump into this and show you guys what is different. So if you guys are wanting to build a, what Will likes to say, cookie cutter drag build, this is the perfect template for it. So let's go ahead and check it out and see what this car has and what makes it different than the first time when I first saw it with a stock motor build. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I am behind the camera and we will go over, of course, the main thing that you guys want to see. So this motor is a Titan built 3.2 stroker motor paired with an ETS turbo kit. As you can see here, this turbo is far from the 6870 that is very common on a lot of top mount cars. So this one is the Precision 73.9 85 Sportsman Turbo. So this car, I'm just gonna get right to it. This car makes 1,300 wheel horsepower on 50 pounds of boost.
Holy shit!
With this car being here at TX2K, it's probably gonna be making more power. So we'll of course insert some footage as we record more clips throughout the weekend. And then, as you can see, it is a hood exit. This is custom built for this car by English Racing. Here we have the CSF Race X manifold. And then you might be wondering what all of these lines are. These lines are actually going to the ice box that is supplied by KLM. So very, very nice setup. And then this is a custom built catch can for this car. Now let's go roll around over here and you can see the boost controller a little close to the turbo. So still stock coil packs, stock valve cover. Very, very nice and simple build overall. So with this being a built motor, of course, it does need to have a built trans. So right now, this car is running a pure stage 2 transmission. And you might be wondering if that transmission can hold, because generally everybody at this power level has a stage 3, but Will is like, fuck it, send it. If it survives, it survives. If not, then it breaks and we'll upgrade to a stage 3. But so far, so good. At this point, as of the recording of this video, this car did run 9.1 at 162. This is the current setup. Of course, it's built to go much faster. But prior to that, this was a stock motor. Again, this is a 6-port, and then it was running a 6870. So if you're not new to my channel, It was pretty much a very similar build to whatever I have. Of course, mine is a 2020, so it is a 2-port, but now it's a completely different beast. With it being a drag setup, of course, you have B-Lax, front and rear. So the front is running gyro disc rotors with the stock calipers. As you can see there, it's got the stud conversion to just make it easier to take the wheel off and on, because as you guys probably know, or if you're familiar with drag racing, you're going to be taking the wheels off and on a lot. In the rears here, definitely not stock. So this is a 15-inch conversion. So you could hardly see the caliper back here, but it is an aerospace setup. So this is a kit where they sell the caliper and the rotors together. And as we roll back around here, with it having a hood exit, of course, there's no exhaust. This is a Titan Motorsports parachute, which is wired into the car. So if Will needs to stop, of course, then he can just pull the cord and he can stop safely. If you guys can see here in the bottom, it's got the EOS diff brace. Of course, with a upgraded drive shaft and axles. So full carbon on that, which is very common for drag builds in this platform. There you can see ETS, who is a partner of English Racing. So pretty simple build overall, if you kind of think about it. I mean, if you're familiar with this platform, but if you're not, this is kind of the base level build for the Mark V's. So if you're looking to build a crazy drag build car, which is very capable of deep 8s, maybe even 7s, assuming conditions are perfect and driver mod is there, this is a great template to look at. Of course, here, the front, you have nice carbon and titanium emblems with a carbon front lip. And then just a carbon trunk lip in the back. So let's go ahead and jump into the interior so you guys can see. So of course, with it being a race car, this is fully stripped out. So no door panels, no sound deadening, no speakers, nothing. It's just literally the door and the latch, as you can see here. So this is a 7.5 cage. If Will decides to go bigger turbo, faster, he doesn't have to switch out the cage. It is already rated for that. We do have Race Tech seats with a harness, of course, for safety and just the class regulations. And in my hand, you have the steering wheel, which is the JQ Works. Super nice. So suede / Alcantara steering wheel, or well, for the rim of the steering wheel with carbon paddles. That is magnetic, so they do make the nice clicking sound. If you guys can hear that. Really nice. Buttons are not configured just yet. Some of them are, but we'll configure them later down the road. You still have the stock dash, where so this is still stock ECU tuned by Mikey Body, of course, partnered with Lucas English there at English Racing. And then you can see fully stripped out interior with the chute release up on top. So easy to access whenever he needs to stop. So we'll go around to the passenger side so you guys can see the rest of the setup. Then here we have the KLM ice chiller with the pump right there, and then the line going into the engine bay to properly cool the intake manifold. Of course, with you guys having a drag car, you do need to have a fire extinguisher. And on the back there, there is a nitrous bottle to just help with the launch and make sure that the car, or well, the turbo in this case, does spool up so Will can get the best times. So even though he hasn't reached the full potential, honestly, this is Will's first event with this full build. And yeah, it's hell of a car and hell of an event to learn your car, but Will's been doing good, so I'm excited to see what this car does. Here we'll give it a good walk around. So all in all, of course, can't forget about the Venturi headlight delete intake duct conversion. You can see the branding there. But overall, this car is not super complicated. Of course, you guys will need to make sure, if you're interested in building a car like this, is have a pretty sizable budget, because compared to some of the other builds that you guys will see on the channel for this year's TX2K25, this is one of the more quote-unquote budget-oriented builds. It is still a good chunk of change, but compared to other platforms that you do see, I mean, you can see them all around here, you know, GTRs, R8s, even the Mark IV Supras. Pricing for this and the capability for this car to go deep 8s, even maybe into 7s, is honestly extremely impressive. Make sure you guys give Will a follow. This car sounds insane. So for the viewers, I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you guys how it's like. If you never have experience with a drag car, the best thing is trying to squeeze through the cage to get in here. So I'm going to show you guys me doing it. So first things first, you put your rear leg in, and then you kind of just curl into a C, and then you just technically fall into the seat. As you can tell here, I mean, I'm not in the best shape. I'm already kind of winded, obviously, just talking, but getting in this car. But it's not too bad. Obviously, getting out of the car is completely different. But let's go ahead and flip the camera around so you guys can see the interior. So this is why you guys need a quick release steering wheel, especially if you have a drag car, because getting in and out is going to be impossible. So an absolute must. But other than the missing interior and the roll cage, it's still a very familiar sight for a lot of you Supra owners. Nothing too different here. Still, you know, stock gear selector. AC, of course, it's deleted. No heater as well, because the heater core was deleted. But yeah, it's still very, very clean. So props and shout out to the English Racing team who has put this car together, for doing an awesome job. Really excited to see what Will does with this car for this weekend. Of course, stay tuned to the channel for the best Supra content, especially here at TX2K. I truly feel like that prior to this year, it used to just be the A90 class, but I feel like the X58 class doesn't get enough recognition, but really excited to feature more cars. Make sure you guys stay tuned to see the clips of this car running down the track. You guys can probably hear it with the other guys who's doing the roll racing right now. But Will, thanks again for letting me feature your car on the channel. I know you made me almost shit my pants the last time that you gave me a ride, but with no passenger seat, I won't be able to shit my pants over there. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow Will on Instagram. You guys saw his Instagram handle on the screen. So if you guys are in the Pacific Northwest, Will and his crew do also host events at Bremerton Raceway, which I did attend with my dad, my wife, and my father-in-law. They loved it. So if you guys are there, definitely check it out. Make sure you guys join the Facebook group for the Bremerton Raceway event as well. And you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
Can he get into the 8s here? That will help him. Could be in the 8s here. 874, 161 for William Lee. That'll move him all the way up to number 13.